Hey, this is Matthew from Atlanta.
Matthew from Atlanta. What's happening? Who's going to win tomorrow?
I'm telling you, man, I have a good feeling about this. I live in actually Lucy McBass district that Ossoff ran in a few years ago.
Okay.
And there is a giant swell of Latinx activists out here. And I have a really good feeling. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I think it's going to work out all right on both ends.
All right.
Real quick, I'd be remiss if I didn't just say how much, Michael meant to all of us and what an inspiration he was. I just want to start with that. But I had a question, a comment and a question.
Okay.
My comment being, personally, with this whole Medicare floor vote situation, I think, has there been any talk about the emergency temporary expansion of Medicare just for X amount of months to get us through the pandemic? Because I feel like David Sirota said about Ro Khanna's proposed bill to leave it to the states, if you did a temporary expansion of Medicare just through the virus, that would give the American public a taste of what they're going to get, and therefore there would be an immense amount of pressure once it comes time to renew or even have a floor vote on permanent Medicare for all.
I believe the scientific term for that is just the tip.
I understand, but if we're talking tactical, I just wondered if that would be, something that we could look at. But really, more importantly, what I wanted to talk about was I am now a union store steward at Kroger Company for the UFCW Local 1996, and something that we are talking
Charge.
about. What's up?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, no, and you guys definitely were part of inspiring me to do that. But
Good.
something that we're really focusing on right now is the PRO Act, and I just want to know if you guys had plans to maybe talk more about the PRO Act, push for it. It's very similar to card check, and it would definitely be the biggest piece of labor legislation in decades.
Yeah, and that passed a House at the beginning of this
February.
year. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, February.
And that is a big deal. Look, if Ossoff and Warnock get in there, it really just all the power goes to Joe Manchin, and that guy I think is pretty. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what happens in the Senate, but yes, that would be huge. We need.
Well,
I think there's a better understanding. There was a huge missed opportunity when card check was not passed, when the Democrats
had super majority and everything.
Yeah, and I think they wanted to save. They wanted to save. I guess a political cachet for the Affordable Care Act and whatnot. But, and the PRO Act is basically allows for more like a unionization across shops, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
I believe it's the People's Right to Organize Act, and it would make it just much easier for non-unionized workplaces to be able to do so. And obviously, that's a huge deal, and I think it's something that for the next, few months, if everything goes well tomorrow, that I think that would be one of the biggest fights we can push.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I, as far as the first thing about the temporary expansion of Medicare, like the HEROES Act, basically, it seems to me, shut the door on that in the sense that, and this is, I talked to AOC about it. You can go back and listen to conversation we had. We just played it for the best of last week. This was one of the worst parts of the HEROES Act was they were going to subsidize COBRA instead of expanding Medicare.
Wow.
Well, God forbid people should get a taste of socialized medicine and decide that they like it. I guess the more PC way to say that might be foot in the door.
Well, no, exactly. But,
right,
but that's the point.
But guys, I mean, that's exactly how, Medicare got passed in Canada is, like Sirota has said with Ro Khanna's bill, you let states implement it, and just like legalizing marijuana at the state level, now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, the problem is, and I look, and I think my understanding is that the unions are looking to the states to do this, right? I mean, they are looking to
we are, yes, sir.
The problem is, and I would say, is that in those instances, it is hard for them to have the money that is necessary for that type of thing. Now, you can make it like a sort of a less comprehensive version of like a Medicare-for-all. I mean, look, the ACA had a waiver in it that allowed for states to do that. Vermont was toying with the idea. And then you had a weak governor who was afraid of the idea of raising the taxes, and it fell apart there. I also think that was a different era, and there's a better understanding. And, you could have some major Democratic figures like Bernie Sanders come in or AOC come in and build support in a specific state that's trying to do it. So, if that happens in California, Gavin Newsom's our president. Right. I mean, I don't know when that happens, but that's the way that Gavin Newsom, if I'm Gavin Newsom, I'm thinking like, this is the way I become president.
President named Gavin.
Yeah.
Well, we're in a completely different time than we were.
No, I agree.
Just even a few months ago.
I agree.
So,
I think that's
hey, thanks,
good.
guys. I really appreciate it. I'm
call.
going to hang out and listen to you guys. I appreciate everything you guys do.
Thanks so much.
Solidarity.
What about the fear that single payer healthcare really only works on the federal level, and if states try and for whatever reason fail to implement it at the state level, that will undermine the case for it? I'm not saying that this is a reason states shouldn't do it, but like I have heard that bandied about by people who are wonks on this issue.
I don't think there's any reason why in a state like California, let's say, or a state like New York, single payer healthcare couldn't work. The only difficulty is that you have a dynamic in states. Like, I mean, look at this, the dynamic that we see with charters in New York in particular, charters, and with just this vaccination program. The money in the state buys a lot more politicians than it does on a federal level. And so it may be harder to implement insofar as you need to raise taxes substantially to do it. I mean, it's basically just a question of like, California is a very big state. And
well, what about, I oddly, I was watching the documentary Wiener over the weekend. Anthony,
love that documentary.
I've seen it before. I was showing my boyfriend who hadn't seen it before, and I totally forgot he ran on single payer for the city.
Yeah.
That could be some way to do some sort of micro and then expansion. Like, doesn't need to be the whole of New York State, but.
Right. I mean, I think California is really, if you can do it in California, then there's no reason why it can't happen nationally. But,
right.
I went to see that movie with my boss and my male coworker, two dudes. And I was like just cackling like a witch the whole time at this man's humiliation. And they were both so uncomfortable. It was great.
Well, I was sad. I mean, you just feel sad for the family, but I'm a real softie.
I felt surprisingly bad for Huma, I will say. I did not expect to have any empathy for her.
It's a good movie, good documentary if anyone wants to watch a politics one.
Tomorrow, there's a good chance I'm going to hop on tomorrow night to cover the Georgia elections.